Hello and welcome to Cigar Box Guitars, aka the Dutchman in San Marcos. I am the DISM, coming to you with another Cigar Box program. We're working on the Total Wine Box. As you know, we left it with working on the neck. There's been several steps. Now we're going to get into some more steps. So let's get going. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get working again on the Total Wine Box Cigar Box guitar. And where I left you was we glued up the neck. We were gluing up the neck. So that's been all glued up. It's been all glued up, and now it's ready for fretting. So we're going to get in. I'll show you just putting a couple frets on there. I also need to sand down the sides to get it all nice and even. And as I was just sitting here thinking about what I need to do next on it, I thought I better sand that before I start sinking all those frets in there. So I'll probably set up with the belt sander outside, which I'll show you to get this. I can't see it, but to get the fretboard even on it, let me show you. To get, as you can see, some of that is sticking out to get it even. So we'll sand these off, sand them down so it's all flush. I did sand the neck more, so you can see it came out nice and smooth, and I sanded this piece nicer. So that's the neck coming together. It fits in the box really nice. So really our neck is getting done. It feels good. It's like a thick neck. I kind of like the way that feels. Some of my other ones, because I don't have this extra piece in here, are thinner, because this would go straight down. The reason I did this is so I get the angle right, because I couldn't figure out how to do this part first. So that was just to get it right. But then it doesn't look bad. It kind of got a nice look. But I definitely got to sand these down. You can see this one here is sticking up a little high. That was because either this was sanded is not as wide, or sanded shorter, and so we just got to even it all up. And I thought I better do that before I start sinking. I cut all the frets out of this piece of wood before I glued it on, so the slots are there. But I thought if I start sanding on the side and I got these frets already pounded in, that might wreck the frets. So let's get that done first, and I'll get you set up to do that. So the next shot you'll see is me sanding this thing down, and then hopefully on this program I'll show you at least getting the jumbo fret in, and maybe a couple of these so you can see the process. And then when you come back, I'll have them all in, and we'll show you how to kind of dress them and get them together. So we're getting to the point when we get this done. I said last week I was going to get holes in the box, but my video got too long. So we still got holes. I'm not going to commit to that this time. I still got holes to put in the sound. I still got holes to put in for the sound, and I haven't decided yet. Maybe a hole here and a hole here, or maybe a hole here and a hole down here. Haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. So like a hole here and a hole down here, or maybe just something in there. I got to figure out what I want to do. Smaller, bigger holes, or I could put a big hole maybe right there. But that's the decision process. And then all I have to do is make a bridge for it. And I'm thinking about that bone I have with a metal fret on it for the bridge. And then all I have to do is put that hinge on there, like I showed you the other one, for the strings, and then, you know, put the tuners in it, stain this thing with some of that wood stain I have, or to seal it, you know, the wood sealant I have, and then it'll be pretty much done. So we're getting closer and closer to finishing it. So, and then I'm going to take it, put my card on it, and bring it over to Total Wine and see if they'll hang it in their cigar humidor area. Be interesting to see what it'll do to the neck and humidity. So let me get you set up to get this thing sanded, and I'll show you that. It'll actually be a little brighter because I'll do it outside with my mask on, because that fine sawdust, I don't know, hardwood, kind of wreaks havoc on my sinuses. So we'll do that. I was sanding without one here, and I did feel a little of the sinus thing again. I thought, I should have had it on. So let me get that set up, and I'll come back and we'll be sanding this thing, and then I'll show you near the end maybe putting a couple of the frets, at least pounding a couple of the frets in to see how that goes. Because remember, this one is a jumbo fret, because we want it to break off of there. Oh yeah, and I got to come up with something to divide the strings. I have some metal, I can't find it right now, so I'll have to look that up. So let's get over to the bench and do that. There you go. So now I'm moving back over to the bench. Kind of gave you that all in real time. It actually came out pretty well. Hang on, let me show you. All right, here we go. So you can see I got a little marks. It was kind of hard because of this would bump into it to get it flat. So I got a few marks here, but I can get that out with my little fancier little sander. And I need to get a little bit off right here. But other than that, it came out nice and smooth. If you look all the way across it, came out nice and smooth. So we got that done. So let me move you over to the bench, and I'll just show you how I kind of cut them. I don't know if I'll actually tap them in, because I got to get a saw. And I've got to run it. I got to run it through these, and it took a little longer on the sanding part, so I don't want to use up too much time. But let me get it over to the bench here in the garage. I was outside of the garage there. Let me get it over to the bench here and show you that real quick, and then we can call it a show. So hang on. Okay, here we go. Got you set up on this bench now. Got my frets out. Actually, it was weird. I found a bag of these. They were extra small. These are medium nickel silver, and this is medium nickel silver frets. So medium. So when I buy more, I'll buy these. But I got some extra small ones, which is kind of weird. So this is the medium one. You can see it. Sorry, I cut my finger on a screw just a minute ago. And then this is the jumbos come pre-bent, which are nice. This is the jumbo one, which you can see is a lot bigger. So we're gonna put this on here and just get a mark and cut it. I won't actually show you pounding them in, because I'll wait until I get them all cut. But what I need to do is I gotta be careful if I don't bump. What I need to do is, since I was sanding this, since I was sanding this, I just need to run a saw through the teeth. Actually, these are pretty tight. I thought this, there it goes. I thought this soft fitted. Just kind of open that up a little bit because these tangs have to fit in here. So I mark it like that. I get it flush right up to here. Then there's less to sand. And you gotta have a pair of nippers like this in order to do it. So you just get this as close as you can. Can you see that? Let me get it up here. You get it as close as you can. And you nip it off. So that's the jumbo. As you can see, so that's the jumbo fret there I cut. I'm not going to pound them in today, but I'll pound them all in, and then I'll sand them. But that'll pound in just like that. And then on the medium ones, I'll cut a couple of these so you can see it. The medium ones, the same way. I set them up there. Kind of flush it to the end. They're still sharp, so you gotta file them, and I'll show you that. And get it right up there. And I get this guy is nice because you can see it's flat, so I can get it right up to here. And you can see that cuts a good fret. A lot of guitar builders will actually see the way these are curved. They'll actually curve all their frets before they cut them. These here are just flat, but I don't do the curve thing because my cigar box are more basic. So there you have it. Get this guy in the slot so you can see. All ready to be tapped in. So that's the jumbo and that. And when you come back, I'll have them all in because it gets kind of tedious. But you got to make sure you got a good pair of nippers like these. I found these, you get them at a guitar, like Stuart Warner, the fancy guitar tool store. You pay a lot of money for them. I was at the swap meet and I saw these. I go, they're mine. I think I picked them up for 50 cents, but and they were sharp too. That's why I made sure they get a little dinged up from the fret. So eventually I have to buy a new pair the more I use them, but they work for now. I used to use this saw to clear out the slots, but I think even this saw has got a few. Now that I feel the teeth have a few imperfections, so I might have to look at a new little saw. So there we have it. All right, so there we have it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed that. I showed you how I cut the frets. I didn't nail them in yet, but they just pound in, and then I actually run crazy glue on the sides to help hold them in because my saw withes and blades are so random that they don't like to stick. Sometimes when you start sanding edges, they'll pop out. So I'll glue those later, but hopefully next week when I come back, I'll have it all fretted so you can see how that looks, and I'll even sand it a little. I've got a little slanted file thing that I use, and I'll show you that too next week. So I hope you enjoyed that. Be sure you like, comment. I read all the comments. I try to, and I try to get back with you. Yeah, so the total wine box is getting done, and we're getting ready for strings. So I've got strings right there. Last time I bought them, I bought a whole mess of them so I'd have them. And I'll come back. I'll show you next week what I'm doing for the bridge. We'll cut some holes, and I just saw in the drawer when I was getting the frets out, I just saw the little hinge I need, so I don't have to buy one of those. We'll be able to look at screwing that on and hooking that up. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good week, and we will see you same time, same bat station on Saturday, and look forward to seeing. Excuse me. Now that sawdust is getting to me because it's around here in the garage a little bit. Be sure you watch the clay train, which that's what that white thing is behind me. We'll be showing a new show right after this. I'm going to film that. So have a good day, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.